it's Theresa of Larkin Design, and today I'm with you here with my One Little Word album, and I wanted to do an update on how I'm going along with that project this year. So I wanted to do a February update, and in case you're new to my channel, welcome and welcome to One Little Word. I am participating in Allie Edwards' One Little Word class this year, and so this class centers around selecting one word to sort of live out the year, and Allie gives us prompts each month to follow through and to help us live more intentionally with our words. And so for the month of February, we were given the prompt to practice. And the idea was to select one thing to practice throughout the month of February, just once per day, that embodies our word and that means something to us. And the goal was not to practice to perfection, but simply to practice and see, what came from that. And so today I wanted to show you what came from that for me. And when I chose my word, I chose the word shine, and I did that intentionally. I've chosen words in the past, although I've never participated in Allie's class. This is my first year participating in the class and actually doing more with it than just sort of, here's how that word manifested itself today. But in the past, my words I noticed this about myself this year, that my words tended to be involved with the healing process. And that definitely, that was a good thing that helps me move forward from some of my trauma in the past. But this year I was ready for a word that was more, that was less focused on healing and actually allowed me to see that I'm good enough, and that even though I'm still healing and will probably be healing for the rest of my life, I wanted to think of myself as that I'm good. I'm good right where I am, and that I actually can shine in spite of being a trauma survivor, and I can shine along with my healing. So, and I think that that's a good sign for me that I'm coming full circle with my healing. And so the prompt for February was to practice one thing per day, and the one thing that I kept coming back to when I was thinking about what I needed to practice, or what I wanted to practice, or what was calling to me, and what echoed my word, was self-love. And I'm gonna preach here for a minute and say that I follow the practice of following Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian, and whenever I'm faced with dilemmas or issues or challenges, what was the example that Jesus set for us? And the number one example that I always come back to was love. And I think that probably anybody who's hearing this can relate to me when I say sometimes it's just plain hard to love. It's hard to love some people, and it's hard to love situations that we're in sometimes, and it's hard to be present when it's not something that we wholeheartedly embrace. And I found in my life that whenever I was struggling to love someone or struggling to embrace someone, that it was actually that I was struggling to embrace what I saw mirrored in myself. And so I sort of came to a realization that in order to love others, I need to practice self-love first. I need to be able to love myself and love my own shortcomings, work on them, absolutely, but I needed to love myself and give myself grace before I could extend that to others. And so my February practice was about self-love, and what I decided to do was I just created these quick, these are Project Life Inspire cards that are in the Project Life app, that's now available for Android, yay. So y'all know I've been working with the Project Life app for a couple of months now and love it. And so I decided to document this project through that app as well. One, the Inspire Edition cards have these lovely days of the week cards, and they're all the same, you know, Monday through Sunday. And so I just copied them into 12 by 12 layouts and added my dates, and then just one or two sentences about what method of self-love that I had practiced that day or had to remind myself of that day. And so what I have here is a collection of 29 ways to practice self-love. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these up and prepare to put them in the pockets, pages in the album. I've got them ready, and I'm so sorry, they're building a road out past our house, and so there's construction again today. It's just every day. I can't get away from it. But anyway, this is my February divider. I'm looking for tabs to add so I can divide the months properly. But I have the pages ready to go that I'm just going to slide these cards into. And then what I wanted to do, I'll probably do that off camera, and then add them, and I'll come back and do a flip through of the album for you. And I also want to do a reading of the cards before I put them in there. So stay tuned for that, and I hope that this lets you walk through the month of February with me and walk through 29 ways to practice self-love. February 1. You and you alone are responsible for your own happiness. February 2. Let go of unrealistic expectations of perfection. February 3. Embrace your own uniqueness. February 4. Comparison immobilizes. You are fantastic just as you are. February 5. You are everything enough, and then some. Go be you. February 6. Establish healthy, loving boundaries for yourself. February 7. Practice walking away. No explanation required. February 8. Practice positive self-talk. February 9. Live with intention. Decide on your path and follow it with intention. February 10. Say what you mean. Say exactly and only what you mean. Ask others to do the same. February 11. Say no when things don't feel right for you, your work, or your intention. February 12. Learn what and who makes you vibrate in unhealthy ways. February 13. Miserable people want the world to be miserable with them. Don't let them make you miserable too. February 14. Love unconditionally. February 15. Make sure you get enough me time. Use that time to recenter. February 16. Sometimes it's better to not react at all, especially when the person is acting out to something that cannot be changed. February 17. You have power. February 18. Removing your reactions removes their power. February 19. Focus on the things that bring you positive energy. February 20. Take notice how you are vibrating in your space. Is it words, actions, or energies? February 21. You are brave. February 22. Dream about plans. Make plans. Live out your plans. February 23. Care for yourself. Care for your body. You are worth it. February 24. You are free to walk away from any person or situation that does not feed your soul. February 25. If someone else says no, that is not a rejection of you. Don't look to others for validation of yourself. Give them and yourself more grace than that. February 26. Live an inspired life. See beauty around you, embrace it, and practice it. February 27. Let other people take care of you, help you, and love on you. February 28. Rest. Rest your body, your mind, your spirit, even your creativity. February 29. Just be. Leave yourself, situations, and things be. Everything is precisely as it should be. "29 ways to practice self-love." Okay, so that was the reading of the cards, and I hope that something spoke to you from those cards and from what I gathered from the month of February. I did want to print those out and keep those in my album to refer back to sometimes and remind myself of what I gained from paying attention to some of these things. And overall, what I learned from this practice, from this month, is that we think that we're taking care of ourselves, and we think that we are practicing this self-love and this self-care thing. We think we are, and what I learned was that if I'm not intentionally practicing self-care and self-love, then I'm probably not practicing self-love. And that does take a measure of intentionality and a measure, for me, the being accountable for it was what made me pay attention to it. and it may not be. And the interesting thing is, on February 2nd, that might be what I learned that day. That I didn't actually let go of those expectations, but I actually needed that reminder. Hey, today you were beating up on yourself because you weren't perfect, and so let go. And especially as creatives, we do that, right? We expect perfection, and we get frustrated when our creativity is not the level of perfection that we think it should be. So these aren't things that I did 100% in the month of February, but that I was mindful of to give myself grace towards in the future. And so it was important to me to document each of these. I did not end up using any of the printables that Allie had created for us. She had created a checkoff sheet, an actual checkoff sheet, which was great. And it's a beautiful little checkoff sheet for each day of the month of February. And that, it's a lot of people really enjoyed filling out those spaces and checking that off every day. For me personally, it felt too much. It felt like a heavy weight. And so it's important to withdraw the things that feel like a heavy weight, but I still showed up and I still completed the task and learned a lot from the task without that checkoff sheet and without having to physically check something off every night. And I'll be honest, some of these were not written on that day. They may have been written a day or two afterwards, after I had time to process what had happened that day and what I needed to learn from what had happened that day. And I've known that about myself for a long time, is that sometimes I need to separate myself from the situation and process it before I can write it off, or before I can write about it, before I can check off that box and say, okay, I'm done with that and ready to move on. And that's just me personally. So I've certainly enjoyed seeing how other people have completed their practices for the month, and have enjoyed seeing those boxes checked off by others. This is a different way for me to do it, that I could actually make it work for me. And so I did create just a simple title piece in the Project Life app, and I just I dated it February 2016 practice, 29 ways to practice self-love. And then I also, on the other side of this 4x6, I included a quote. It's a quote that's written, my friend Pam Lyon, she wrote this in her handwriting, and it's a quote by Rainer Maria Rilke, and it says, "For one human being to love another, that is perhaps the most difficult of all our tasks, the ultimate, the last test and proof, the work for which all other work is but preparation." And this is sort of my preparation for myself, so that I can love myself and then in turn love others. And that just sort of was a great reminder there of why I'm doing this. And so this is how these journaling cards ended up being cut and fitting in the pockets. And I was able to leave just a little bit of a border, because I really like that background color, and it helps to frame each one and let them stand on their own. And then I might go back and add a photo here in the next few days or something. I don't know, but that's where that stands. And then there were 29 days, it left one spot here, and so I just that's another one of the 3x4 cards, and it says inspiration is everywhere. And then on the back, I'll probably just do a patterned paper or something. When I go to work on March, I'll update you on what I decided to do with that. And so this is my February prompt of practice for one little word. Thanks so much for watching.